Good morning. It's Monday, June 15th, 2026. It's very early. Well, not very. It's like 7:30 in the morning. Got up, started my day the way I do, and it's probably, I need to stop. I need to put in I was doing this for a while, where I had just 20 minutes of do nothing. Kind of, sit on the living room floor, just cross-legged and just listen to the birds and the sun coming up, and not open a device first thing and start scrolling. But that's old habits die hard. I have been a reader of the news for I used to read it in print every morning, and then we don't do that anymore because once upon a time a bunch of investment types bought up print media, and then they ran it into the ground. And so it's a similar pattern, but that shit happened way back in like the 2010s. A bunch of paper print went to the wayside. They just couldn't make it. And so then, all the investment bros get to buy it all up. Anyway, I'm sidetracked. So that's an old habit that dies hard, right? So especially with not social, well, yeah, I guess it's social media, but a device in our pockets. It's really easy to I'm just going to scroll. So, yesterday there was this spectacle in the nation's capital, at the nation's capital. And then there's all, everything else that's going on, right? Like all the stuff. We're running out of water, we're running out of food. Things are pretty shot. I think it's fair to say that this unmitigated, it's not even capitalism, it's neoliberalism, when you got just 4 people at the top who own all the things, and then they charge us, our firstborn for a cup of water. You know what I mean? Anyway, so yeah, the whole place is shit. It's gone to shit. In and amongst all of those, updates, articles, feeds, whatever, a similar story that I hear repeated oft, and I'm sure it has been repeated since the beginning of time, something close to it, right? But it was, our young people don't have any critical thinking skills. We need to teach our kids how to think critically. I'm going to take umbrage. Sorry, this is probably a little bit of a rant. So if you're not I won't yell or scream or anything, and I'll try to keep my F-bombs down to a minimum. But if you're not into that, if that's not the way you want to start your day, I don't blame you. This irritates me, though. This irritates me to no fucking end. Because young people did not get us here. They had nothing to do with it. I think if there is a big group of people who needs to sit down and, geez, do I know how to think critically? It would probably be people older than young people. Young people didn't vote for any of this. They didn't do that. They're not the ones who defunded schools. They're not the ones who closed a bunch of rural hospitals. They're not the ones who bought up all the farmland so they could build data centers. They weren't even the ones who were sitting on city council boards that nodded and said, yeah, we want this. They didn't do that. They didn't do that. And for the folks out there who complain about young people, are you even close to young people? Do you have young people in your life? Do you work with young people? Or are you basing this broad brush perspective on like your one interaction with some kid behind a checkout at a grocery store or something? I don't know. Somebody doesn't know enough about the thing you're asking for. We don't have expertise behind the counter anymore. Do you want to know why? Because, I'll give you a good example. You walk into a big box hardware store, let's say, and you want to ask somebody for some help. But you're going to get all kinds of frustrated because the person you're asking for help isn't an expert. They are making minimum wage, but you want journeyman kind of information for $7.25 an hour. The people who have that expertise are worth a lot more than that. And you know, those big box stores, they need to make a profit. So the best way to do that is to exploit the labor of younger, less experienced individuals. It's real easy. You just got to put them on the floor. They don't actually have to know what they're doing. They don't have to provide any kind of customer service or information. It's a fucking warehouse. You are supposed to wander around until you find what you need. Corporations are not here for you. I don't know who needs to know that. They are not here for you. They don't care. You didn't get the right service that you need, so you're going to complain about it. They don't care. Did you still spend your money in the store? Yeah, again, another example. If you don't like the way you're being treated, why do you keep spending money there? There's some critical thinking some adults are lacking on. I don't like that. I think I'll do it again. I think the kids are smarter than most of the adults in the room just aren't giving them credit for. They're a lot smarter than a lot of you all because they can see through some bullshit a lot quicker. A lot quicker. You know who didn't run out and buy up a bunch of NFTs? Yeah, the 17-year-olds. I mean, it didn't have anything to do with they didn't have any money in their pocket. It was they looked at it and went, that's fucking stupid. At least mine did. So, I don't know. I don't know what to say. My biggest, oh, dude, this guy, once upon a time, I overheard him complaining that kids these days now don't know how to use a flathead or a screwdriver, or a Phillips. Whose fucking fault is that? You know, my brother-in-law, it was a couple years ago at Christmas, he was mad, bent in the face that kids these days learn how to drive on an automatic vehicle. You know, I'm Gen X, right? We had plenty of opportunity to learn how to drive a clutch because everybody owned a clutch. They're all automatics nowadays. The only way you can get your hands on a manual car is if you spend 120 grand for some custom made fucking little beep beep, you know what I mean? Like, what do you want? My husband learned how to drive on a tractor when he was like 11. You know what I mean? Like, this shit doesn't happen anymore. Just complain. Just complain. Like, that's it. That's all they know how to do. Several years ago, it was about 4 or 5 years ago, I don't know, whenever it was during the Oscars when there was that slap, I didn't watch it. You know why? Because I don't give a shit about the Oscars or the people who dress up in their stupid ass dresses. Nobody dresses like that. Ever. But like, I hate it, right? And then we all, oh yeah, that was really good make-believe you did. I'm so glad you got paid 6 figures, 7, 9 to do that. Like, I don't care. I don't care. But I was looking for some, oh my God, so many things about this conversation irritated me. I was looking for bonding primer, a spray can, Rust-Oleum, and I went into this hardware store, and this dude named Gary, older than me, shorter too, he wanted to help. He worked there. What can I help you with? I'm looking for some bonding primer. You got any? What are you painting? Cabinets, an old cabinet door, bathroom cabinet. It was just, I didn't need to, why the hell do I have to explain to him anything? Look, buddy, I asked for bonding primer. Just point me in the direction, okay? Let me come back to that fact that nobody that works there is an actual expert. He wanted to sell me like some $80 gallon of cabinet paint, which is shit, to be quite frank. Anyway, I'm looking for some bonding primer. What are you painting? Kitchen cabinet. And then out of the blue, he cuts in and said, oh, did you see that Oscars? Why, if somebody, I stopped dead short. And I said, Gary, that is not why I am here. I mean, talk about critical thinking skills. I'm standing in a hardware store and I'm asking you for bonding primer, but you bring up Will Smith? I don't even know, man. But that's not why I'm here, right? Anyway, also, speaking of old codgers who should hang it up and go home, I think Dana White is a chode. I'm just going to say that. Like, fuck off. I don't even care. Who cares? Who cares? Why does everybody care so much about shit like that? Celebrity and stuff and money and spectacle. I don't get it. I think it's boring and it's unoriginal. Kind of like all of their faces, right? I'll be honest with you. My face is old and it's beat up and it's banged up and it comes with acne and bad teeth and yup, because that's real life. And I think we should stop worshiping the dipshits. You know what I mean? Like, talk about critical thinking. It's the adults. It's the fucking adults. But like, here's the thing. If you're upset that the kids these days don't know how to use a Phillips or a flathead or they don't know the difference, but you don't have the wherewithal to go, maybe I should show them. Like, who the fuck is the one with the poor critical thinking skills anyway? I'm so sorry. I'm not. I'm not sorry. I shouldn't apologize. Just in case. I had to get it off my chest. And you know what? Stop scrolling. I needed to just stop. Just interrupt that. Stop that. Get it off my chest. And move on with my goddamn day. What the hell am I getting up to today, man? I don't even know. What are you doing? If you're a young person out there, I'm glad you're here. I think you're fine. The world's a mess, but you didn't make it that way. You sure fucking didn't. And if you are one of the few that they seem to say have no critical thinking skills, that's not your fault either. That's not your fault either. And also, I don't blame public ed for that. I don't. Everybody out here wants their kids to graduate with an Ivy League education, but pay some poor teacher $30,000 a year to look after 6 different classrooms of 30 students apiece. Shut up, right? Like, too bad. We're failing everybody, the adults in the room. We're failing all the kids, the teachers, the public system, all of it. It's fine. I mean, it's not. That's passive aggressive on my part. But I don't know. Also, adults, those of you who think that young people have a critical thinking problem, do you know how to help people become open to learning something new? It's not by kicking them in the teeth. So, I don't know. Maybe stop calling them stupid. Just stop being that way, man. Why are you like that? What's with this generational bullshit? It sells. That's why. Right? Like, it sells. That's it. That's it. That's why it gets traffic. That's why it gets motion. That's why it gets pushed around. Somehow it sells. So, anyway, adults, stop falling for it. Stop. Get a hobby. Find something to do. What the hell are you so worried about other people's kids for anyway? And if you don't like the fact that, I don't know, young people these days don't know enough, stop outsourcing every last goddamn thing to the screen. That's on you. That's all I got to say. That's on you. Also, how much did you know at the age of 20? 2, 4, 5? I was, oh, hell. The amount of mistakes I made before I turned 25? Good Lord. Good Lord. Thank God. Like, it's not, you know, shit, man, we weren't even scrapbooking back then. You know what I mean? If you didn't have a Polaroid, it didn't happen. So, anyway, I'll get up. I'm going to get up. I'm going to fucking make the bed and maybe, yeah, I don't know what. Get up to something. It's a nice day. I'm waiting for my veggies. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. You have a good day.